The following is a transcript between Matías De Stefano, referred to as me, and his higher self, referred to as I am, originally produced on January 31st, 2021, under the constellation of Aquarius, in the mental week examining through the crown chakra. I am. You have walked the earth, and each of your steps has told you about your past, your origin, your path. Each question you asked lead to the beginning of your story, of your body, to understand who you are. When you look at your feet, you recognize the steps taken, the paths traveled, and the further you go, the closer you get to the place where you started. Like every hero's story, one day you decided to leave your home to embark on a journey, an adventure in which, by investigating, you found new landscapes, internal and external, where, to fall in love, you faced beasts and monsters to find freedom. And in doing so, you recognized what you were capable of, being recognized for the glory of your walk. And that is how, looking for harmony, you return home, transformed after the journey. But in an adventure, you never know where you're going. You never know what you'll find, and the path is made as you walk. There is only one thing for certain. If you do not want to get lost, you should look to the north, and there you will find the star that will guide you. Me, Polaris. I am. The journey of life is a constant turn. Everything moves, everything transforms. The earth is not synonymous with stability despite the apparent immovable landscapes. Although the mountains are always there, they change, and if you move away, you'll stop seeing them. You will lose your reference point. It's easy to locate yourself when you always inhabit the same place. You know how to guide yourself through these trees that are always there, or some hills or mountains, house, tower, river, sea. Your mind designs a map around you that you will never need to draw again, as it will become a part of you. But when you decide to move on, go on an adventure, travel, expand, those maps will cease to exist, and you will need to look at the skies. The stars rotate from the point of view of the earth, but they always remain, indicating, guiding people in their migrations. They can identify destinations by following their smooth, slow movements, and in them they observe what they expect to find. The ancients mapped the stars through stories. Using their imagination, they decorated the skies with figures that would help the travelers follow in the footsteps of the gods. The stories were not real. They were legends that they had heard about the experiences of first humans who walked the earth, about their exploits. Me. Anaili ube anaili Eurathium apothetherium, au codil pepum mo. Alanali morix morixium u, hitum moblenia mo. Kiai hamslana mo. The teachers used to say before telling us one of their stories looking at the stars. Tell me, Musa, tell me about the silent pages of our past, about the past that designed our history. Tell me about the men and women who traced our destiny, those who built our future. The Armenian masters used to take us to the temple gardens or to the desert hills where we had watched the stars. Saying these words, they began to explain to us about the stories of the first walkers drawn to the celestial spheres. They used to tell us something very interesting. They said that the past is actually our future, and we still haven't been able to recognize it. And that they said this because the heavens moved in circles, and the same ancestral paths are repeated over and over again. Thus, you could predict the future by looking at the past. When seeing the stars, they guide you to the future, but there is nothing more than the brightness of our past. I am. A new and interesting paradox. The past is the future, and the future is the past. Maybe, when you look at the sky, you see lights that you recognize as stars. But it's not always that simple. Actually, you have never seen a real star other than the sun, since all of the others are only reflections of the past. Me, how is this? I am. Everything your eyes see is perceived only by the photosensitive eye cells. That is, what you capture is light, and light moves through the space at a certain speed. Particles or photonic waves move through outer space, through a vacuum, at about 299,792 kilometers per second. Although in a medium with glasses such as air in our world, the speed drops to about 299,708 kilometers per second. To give you an idea, the circumference of the world around the equator, that is, the circumference, is 40,091 kilometers, and that is to say that light in 1 second can go around the earth 7.5 times. Cuenta. Me. 1. I am. That's it. Until I answered, she did 8 laps until she came back to you. This is called the speed of light. Keep in mind now that the light emitted by solar consumption takes 8 minutes to get from the sun to the earth. This can give you an idea of the enormous distance between the sun and the earth, being 150 million kilometers from each other. Me, too far. I am, but not as close as the nearest star. Alpha Centauri in the constellation Centaurus, which takes 4 years and 37 months to reach the earth, 41.3 trillion kilometers. Me. So it took us more than 4 years to see the light of day? I am. And the further away it is, the longer it will take you to see the light. It is important that you can recognize the truths of heaven to understand what you see and what affects you. You live in a galaxy, a cluster of stars, which extends like a hurricane in the form of a flat spiral, being centrifuged by a huge black hole. A black hole is the accumulation of so many stars that generates a mass so heavy in its gravity that it consumes not only the particles that make up matter, but even light. And therefore it is impossible to be seen, since there is no light that reflects it enough to reach us, and it's darker than empty space. Around it expand galactic arms powered by millions of stars. Now, remember the path of the hero leaving home from Earth. The first thing that you will find will be the moon at 384,400 kilometers. That is a second of light distance. Then the sun, 8 minutes away. Crossing the planets of the solar system beyond Pluto is what you call the Oort cloud, accumulating at about 2 light years. In other words, everything depends on gravity of the sun is only 2 light years away in a straight line from Earth, which in human years would be about 40,000 years of history. Me, 40,000 human years to travel 2 light years and leave the solar system? I am, if you move at the speed of the fastest current human ship, yes. Therefore, it would take you a long time to reach Alpha Centauri, about 100,000 human years. Everything that happens in this nearby star will take almost 5 years to reach our eyes. Now contemplate more broadly at the entire night sky, all of the constellations that surround you and that you see shining with great intensity. Canis Major, Orion, Boiero, Vela, Lyra, Crux, Leo, Taurus, all that you can see with the naked eye. The stars that you can see with the naked eye are all found in a small sector of the galaxy called the Orion Arm, whose limit is 5,000 light years away. This is the neighborhood we live in. But around us are the Perseus and Sagittarius arms, which cover up to 15,000 light years more, being the most distant stars that decorate the bottoms of the main constellations. And behind the stardust, 25,000 light years away, in the center of the galaxy that you call the Milky Way, but beyond them, it is impossible to see anything. That is, the opposite side, the antipode of the galaxy, is invisible to our eyes. Me. Why? I am. Because the stellar dust and the density of the chaos that exists in the galactic center prevent you from seeing it. Imagine that the galaxy is the Iberian Peninsula, and the black hole is Plaza Major. The entire city of Madrid will be the center of the Milky Way, only 2,000 light years from the hole. The Sierras of the central system would be the Norma Galactic Arm. The Iberian system toward Aragon would be the Centaurus Arm, and to the south, the Sagittarius Arm represents the limit of the Bedic system, placing the giant external Perseus Arm in the Pyrenees, and the Cantabrian, which would place the small Brazo de Orion in the precoastal mountain ranges in Catalonia. So you can understand the limits of our galaxy with a map that you know. The Montserrat Mountains would be Sirius, while the Orion Cluster would be the city of Barcelona. Me. Wow. I am. Now, you know where you are. If Iberia is 1,000 kilometers away, the Milky Way is about 100,000 light years wide, while it is only about 1,000 wide. All of the tropical constellations you call zodiac signs, from zoo, animal in Greek, since they all have their shapes of animals, extend along the terrestrial vision according to their position, while all of the galactic constellations follow the line of the width of the Milky Way. Me. So what would a constellation be? I am. It's an imaginative human idea from Earth's point of view, connecting bright spots in the sky, which are actually not close to each other. The distance between the stars are very different, and some are actually galaxies, such as Andromeda, about 2.5 million light years from the Milky Way, so far away that it seems like another star in the constellation of its own name when others of its components are close to Earth. Me. Following the idea of the map is locating myself in the Mediterranean area of the Pyrenees in Cabo de Rosas, having the Peñas de Aya in Euskadi at the other end toward the Bay of Biscay, and still calling it all Pyrenees. Pyrenees would be the constellation, although the distance between one mountain and the other is more than 400 kilometers. I am, that's right. And this is why everything that you see in the sky is actually the past of each star reaching your eyes after thousands or millions of years of traveling through outer space. Sometimes there may even be dead stars in the sky, which you still see and will see for 1,000 more years until the light of their explosion arrives years after the void it has left. Me, it's amazing how big everything is. I am. So you have covered the history of the Earth in the last 2 months, and in the next 2, we will cover the history of the cosmos. So it was important to locate yourself, and the way to do that is to find an axis in this immense path where you can get lost in its journey toward the future, looking towards the past. Me, Polaris. I am. The North Star is called that for only one reason, because for the last 1,000 years, it has been the star that guided sailors and travelers referring to the North Pole. Me, only 1,000 years? I am, exactly. Do you remember the movement of the Earth? Me, which of all? I am, the precession of the equinoxes. Me, oh yeah. While the Earth rotates to the east, it completes its full turn in 24 hours on its own axis due to the gravity of its iron core. The precession of the equinoxes occurs in reverse, during the west due to the attraction of solar gravity at each around its orbit of 365 days, which causes the Earth's axis to shift 1 degree every 72 years, making a complete revolution in its about 26,000 years. Therefore, Earth's north axis will point to a different star every 1,000 to 2,000 years, making the fixed star at the North Pole different for each Earth age. In the age of Pisces, there was no specific star at the pole, but the nearest was the great bright star in the constellation of the Dog. It's called Dog's Tail, Kynosara, and which in Europe was named Tail of the Bear in the constellation Little Dipper, Ursa Minor. Due to its proximity to the Boreal zone, which helped to guide themselves in the mobilized sky, travelers and adventurers who saw the orb pass from east to west found this a way to always find the north and to know where they were going. This is why they named it Polaris, the star of the pole. However, it will cease to be in 1,000 more years. But in the meantime, it is the one that will mark the axis of our world. And it has done so precisely since the fall of Rome, although it was used in the same way before. Just as we have seen on Earth the pole as the only axis that balances through the dance of the Earth, the polar circle that Polaris commands today is the axis of the stars, and therefore it guides you to the future. What is the future? Polaris was Earth's pole star 25,800 years ago, and it will be again in the future. Almost 26,000 years ago, humanity was at the beginning of its cultural formation in the emergence of the first humans aware of their future, looking at the stars instead of the earth. 26,000 years ago, the first human raised their eyes to the heavens and they saw their future. They saw Polaris, and they knew what their north was, and their north was the infinite capacity to create, manifest, and develop. And today we are back there from 1,000 years ago. This is to say that humanity began to constitute its arts and sciences again and to take the greatest leap of the last 20,000 years. For history, the moment of the stadium is not important, but the moment of the jump. This means that for history, for the universe, it is not important to have the technology or consciousness, but the moment in which you discover it and recognize what you can do with it. The period happened during the Polaris, and it happens again at Polaris. For this reason, guiding us along its axis, we will be able to see what awaits us and to find out, and we will ask those who observe us. Are they watching us? Do you think that only you see the light reaching your eyes from the skies? Many others have done it before and have seen the earth and have discovered something different. And while you seek the future moving forward guided by Polaris, they found another faster way, walking backward, moving toward the past, guided by the southern stars. And that is how they came to you 26,000 years ago. The aliens? They are your past, but they live in your future. What? They will explain it to us. There are still many days, and the time is relative. Locate yourself in the galaxy first. Light Polaris on you, and instead of looking at the stars, She lets them look at your light, so the past will show your future. Me, and I will remember what created me. I am. The verb is the conscious word of the future that has designed the past so that you can live in the present. And in this node of time and space, you will be able to connect the network of all the worlds and stars, spinning on you, opening the Polaris portal, and the future will live in you. Me, I am the future.